There are many well-known elements that are essential for life, such as carbon, oxygen, and nitrogen. One that is not mentioned as often, but is equally as important, is phosphorus. This element makes up important parts of every living organism, including our cell walls, the energy our cells use, and even our DNA. Phosphorus follows a natural cycle that resembles a complex web. Initially stored in millions of year old sedimentary rock, it undergoes weathering, releasing phosphorus into surface water and soils. These soils and waters serve as reservoirs for phosphorus, facilitating its uptake by plants and microorganisms. This essential element is then transferred to animals or humans through consumption. Eventually, phosphorus is excreted as waste, contributing to the formation of new rock over millions of years. In most ecosystems, nitrogen and phosphorus are limiting nutrients, meaning they are the most needed for growth within the ecosystem, and small inputs of them mean huge increases in growth. As humans turned to agriculture, they discovered the importance of this limiting nutrient and began applying naturally occurring sources of phosphorus, such as animal waste, to their fields. This was a closed-looped system, allowing for fertilizers to be renewable and self-sufficient. As our population grew, people needed to find a larger and more industrial source of phosphorus to keep up with food demand. Today, we have turned to non-renewable mining of phosphorus-rich rock into fertilizers. This process involves using concentrated acid to turn the rock into a form that plants can use. This process creates 5 tons of waste for every 1 ton of usable fertilizer, mostly in the form of useless and radioactive phosphogypsum. It also produces countless heavy metals and other contaminants naturally in the rock, like lead, uranium, and mercury. These rocks take millions of years to form naturally, making this process highly non-renewable, meaning once the rock is gone, we will not get any more. And the mining of this rock is only increasing. An analysis of phosphate rock mining in 2010 predicted that we will reach our peak rock mining between 2030 and 2100. This worries scientists who look at the growth of the human population and the food required to feed them. If the mining of phosphorite can't keep up with food demands, widespread food shortages and agricultural collapse may be in our future. Even once the phosphorus is put onto the fields and into animal feed, not all of it gets absorbed. Where there is excess phosphorus in the soils and heavy rain comes, much of that phosphorus is swept away as runoff and ends up in unwanted areas such as rivers, lakes, or oceans. This huge spike in a limiting nutrient causes large colonies of unicellular organisms called algae to grow rapidly. This turns water into familiar slimy green mess. And once they die and their bodies decompose in the water, they deplete all the oxygen and can choke out local marine life. This causes massive dead zones, such as the one in the Gulf of Mexico, where little can survive. This kills fish, coral, and other marine life. As runoff has continued, the Gulf of Mexico's dead zone has only increased in size and currently spans 5,000 square miles. In addition, according to a study published by Nature's, researchers found the frequency of algal blooms increased by 60% between the years 2003 and 2020. There are a couple other places, besides agricultural fields, where the careless loss of phosphorus could be stopped. According to another study by Weifeng Zhang at the Agricultural University of China, mining itself can waste around 40% of the phosphorus in the rock due to inefficient refining methods. In addition, we lose an incredible amount of phosphorus in our livestock production systems and in food waste. This causes phosphorus to sit in landfills unused or to be literally flushed away as waste. All this waste may make the future look bleak, but there are possible solutions that could allow us to harness this wasted phosphorus and make sure that we have enough food to last many more generations. According to MIT, there are 3 different routes that we can take. First, we can be smarter about the usage of phosphorus fertilizers. Many labs are trying to create plants that require less phosphorus or can uptake the nutrient faster by selectively breeding for more efficient plants. Making sure not to over-apply fertilizer can also reduce runoff and make sure that plants are only getting what they can uptake without excess. Secondly, new mining locations can be looked for. Because phosphorite is rock, we can scout new deposits in areas like Morocco or Western Sahara that have few large deposits already found. Reserves can be found and protected, allowing for them to be used in the future when other areas we currently have run out. Making sure that 40% of mining waste is reduced by making refining more efficient can also help as well. Lastly, we can try to recycle the phosphorus that is already being lost in runoff or waste. There are methods of water treatment being researched that can take phosphorus out of wastewater and put it back into a usable fertilizer. Creating biofertilizers out of food waste or out of algal blooms is also being researched in order to minimize waste. Most recycling systems right now are still in early stages, but focusing on their development could allow humanity to return to a more sustainable and closed-loop system once again. Altogether, none of these solutions are one and done. We need to work together in a combined effort to make sure that there is a sustainable phosphorus system in place for the future and that no one runs out of food in the years to come.